Hi, my fellow ink drinkers. Welcome to Dark Violet Dreams, where I share my love of books, movies, and other deliciously dark delights. Welcome to the Week of Weird. The Week of Weird is a readathon hosted by Crystal at Fiberartsy and Jason at Jason's Weird Reads. So if you're interested in participating in future Weeks of Weird, definitely check out their channels. I will tag them below so you can go subscribe and learn more about the Week of Weird. I am no expert on weird fiction. In fact, I struggle to fully grasp what the heck weird fiction is. But I love the idea of reading things that are a little bit out there, watching movies that are strange and unusual, because I myself am quite weird. So I thought I would participate. This is my second or third time participating in the Week of Weird, and I am currently in the middle of two books that could fit this readathon. The first is Anterior Skies. I've been reading this since the last go around with the Week of Weird back in, was it September? And I never finished it. I kept setting it aside. I picked it up again recently in January and set it down again because I heard the Week of Weird was coming again. So I am probably a little over 50% through that book. And I am also reading a book by Robert Weaver, one of my favorite authors, called Ride Upon Midnight. And I did not expect this to be like weird fiction, but it's got some of those vibes here and there. It's really good. I am enjoying it so much. So when I am finished with those, I will definitely give more of my opinion on these books. Anterior Skies is an anthology edited by C.F. Page. There are quite a few authors in there that are familiar to me, and there are a whole lot of authors that I have never read before. So I have been enjoying that, and I cannot wait to finish because the poor thing has been picked up and put down so many times. I am reading both of these books on my Kindle, so I do not have physical copies to share with you, but I will post pictures as usual. When it comes to weird movies, I didn't necessarily feel the need to do like the sci-fi horror speculative type movies. I just kind of looked up weird movies and picked a few that I thought looked interesting, whether they end up being weird or not. So forgive me if I went into any of these thinking that they'd be weird and they're not. Or forgive me if I feel they're weird and you don't. But weird is definitely not an insult. Weird is good. It's good to be weird. It's good to be different. So I have 10 movies. Obviously, I am not going to watch 10 movies this week. If I get to one movie this week, we're golden. I'm happy. So I just have these as options. Of course, these movies are all kind of on my list anyway, so I don't need to watch them this week, but here we are. Crossing my fingers I get to at least one or two, and we shall go from there. But I am really excited for this week. I am already reading. I've been reading today, and we'll see what else we can get into. Just like beauty, weirdness is in the eye of the beholder. I watched Stigmata last night with my 20-year-old, and we both had such a good time with it. The 90s vibes were poppin'. I felt like a lot of the main character's clothing and some of her decor and whatnot stepped out of Adelia's catalog. I loved it. Loved the vibes, loved the Catholic Church. There was also a scene where we recognized the interior of a building, and we realized it was the same interior used as Chilton High School on Gilmore Girls. So that was a lot of fun because we've been rewatching Gilmore Girls for the umpteenth time lately, and so it was a lot of fun to see something familiar in this movie as well. Stigmata is about a woman who experiences the same wounds that Christ experienced when he was crucified. And there is a Catholic priest who is trying to figure things out. Not only is he a priest, he is a scientist. So he is looking at it from both a religious and scientific perspective, which I thought was quite interesting. So there's definitely possession. There is a lot of religious horror here. And then, of course, like I said, the 90s vibes. So there was nothing that stood out to me personally as being weird, because I grew up in the church. I grew up in a Christian school. I was taught a lot of this stuff and made aware of a lot of the Catholic beliefs as well. My parents were Catholic before they adopted me as a baby, and they became Baptist, and then we moved to the Methodist church, and I grew up in a Pentecostal school. So I had a well-rounded religious upbringing. And one thing I can appreciate about my parents is we had a lot of balance as well. So there was a lot that was familiar to me, normal. It felt like my upbringing. So there wasn't anything super weird, but I'm glad I watched it. I would watch it again. I gave it 4 stars, and I cannot pinpoint a specific reason why it didn't get bumped up to a 5-star rating. Maybe it should have been, but I feel like it's not something that I'd watch on a regular basis. And a lot of the movies I would give 5 stars, I could watch twice in a row without thinking about it. It is just something that I love that much. So I am definitely harder on movie ratings than I am on book ratings. I would watch it again. It's just not something that I would rewatch tonight. So if you've seen this, let me know what your thoughts are about this movie. I really enjoyed it. So highly recommend if you like religious horror and if you like 90s movies. Hello, I think it has been either 3 or 4 days since I last checked in, but I did accomplish some things for the week of weird. I'm actually kind of shocked because this week has been a lot busier than anticipated. We didn't have anything on the books, but then we had someone come fix our under cabinet lighting, and just life with kids is busy anyway. There's always something happening, even if it's just within the 4 walls of your house. So I'm proud that I actually did some stuff this week because it was looking pretty bleak there for a minute. So I do want to talk about Longlegs. Now I know this was not on my original list of movies to watch, but I didn't realize that it was on one of our current streaming services. We hop from service to service, so I typically make any lists that I make based off of Tubi. So we currently have Hulu, and when I saw that pop up, I was like, yes, I was so excited. Probably too excited for my age, but I had been wanting to watch that, and so when I had the opportunity, I jumped on it. I ended up giving it 4 stars. Could possibly bump that up to 5 if I rewatched it. I hear a rewatch helps certain things make more sense, but I loved it. It was really weird. It was dark. It gave all those cool not that serial killers are cool, but you know, those serial killer vibes, the detective vibes, and then it brings in like satanic worship, which makes perfect sense with the whole serial killer vibe. But both the adult child of mine and I agreed that we kept forgetting it was Nicolas Cage. He did such an amazing job, and hearing certain aspects of his voice would bring me back to reality and remember, oh yes, that is Nick Cage. So really enjoyed his performance, and it felt slow but fast at the same time. There was a lot going on, but it wasn't this like in your face constant movement. I love how it was shot. So if you have not checked out Longlegs, it is on Hulu. Definitely check it out. I highly recommend it. I have also been watching Severance with my oldest son, and we have been enjoying that so much. It definitely falls into Week of Weird because it is a weird show, but it is so good. It's so mysterious. It keeps you on the edge of your seat. You never know what's going to happen next. There's all these twists and turns that just come out of nowhere. Love it, love it, love it. And this week was focused more on Patricia Arquette's character, Harmony, and I just thought that was fitting because, you know, the Week of Weird, and I already watched a Patricia Arquette movie, so it kind of worked itself out there. Severance is available on Apple TV, so if you have Apple TV, I highly recommend checking that out as well. So far, it's a 5-star series for me, hands down. I also finally finished my first book of March, Ride Upon Midnight by Robert Weaver. This is a 5-star read. We're having a good week. We're having a really good week here. I loved this. I think this may be my favorite Robert Weaver book so far, but it's really kind of hard to gauge which one is my favorite. I feel like I felt that about every book I've read of his so far, and I have a few to go, I think. Love this. This is right up my alley. There's a lot of focus on music, and the paranormal, and things like that. So I really enjoyed it. His writing style is a little bit different in this one. The writing was excellent. He just has more of a gothic tone in the other books that I've read by him. So keep that in mind if you've read his other works, but that's nothing to complain about at all. I absolutely loved his tone in this book as well. He can definitely do it all. After reading this, I know he can do it all. So one of my favorite authors. I always say that every time I talk about him. Speaking of, Candle Horror is out now. So if you have not checked it out, highly recommend that one. That has more of a gothic feel to it, while this is more of a kind of rocker musical, like modern feel. Here, let me read the description to you so you can know if Ride Upon Midnight is for you. Framed for murder, gifted or cursed with the power to summon spirits with the aid of his guitar, Niles Anderson, son of Norwegian rock legend Axel, must master his control of the wandering world, the dimension from which his spirit visions come, if he wishes to take back the life that was stolen from him. Enter a world of quantum mysticism, a world of generational love, a world facing the battle between freedom and fate. Enter Ride Upon Midnight, the sprawling paranormal mystery of murder, music, and ghosts by Robert Weaver. But by virtue of the cosmos, Niles won't be alone in his struggle against evil. Ingrid, the girl with a strange and mystical connection to the wandering world, stands before him, her guiding hand calloused and hardened by the ghostly worlds she wanders in her sleep. But can Niles be guided by exterior forces? Will he surrender his ego for fate? Will he become the rock legend his father wants him to be? And will he discover the murderer before it's too late? Absolutely loved it. Definitely check it out, but also check out Candle Horror. You can't go wrong either way. So I am currently reading Anterior Skies. Yes, this is the one that has been in my hands, back on the table several times. And so I will check in with you. I guess tomorrow's the last day of the Week of Weird. So if I don't finish it by tomorrow, I'll check in at a later date. We will wrap up the Week of Weird, but I am going to continue watching weird things because I enjoy the weird. I enjoy it. So I do have some plans to veer off of that list again. I know. I shouldn't even make lists. I'm such a mood reader and mood watcher that I don't know why I bother, because I never stick to the list unless I feel like I have to. But I do want to watch some David Lynch stuff. I saw that I have access to Twin Peaks, and the Twin Peaks Firewalk with Me, is that what it's called? And then also Blue Velvet. So I definitely want to check out at least a little bit of Twin Peaks this weekend, but I see there are quite a few people that are dipping their toes into the David Lynch world. for Week of Weird, which I think is so exciting. So I will definitely extend at least my watches throughout the month, but we'll discuss whatever I don't get to this week at the end of the month, possibly. We'll see. I can't make promises. I start making promises and I like to break them when it comes to my reads, watches, and this YouTube channel. So we're just gonna fly by the seat of our pants. But that's what I'd like to do this weekend at least, is to start going in that direction. I did catch a little bit of Twin Peaks back in the day. I didn't really know what was going on because I kind of stumbled upon it. But I know the vibes and I know that they are what I crave. So I am really hoping to enjoy that as much as many people here in this community have enjoyed it. So we shall see what I think. I'll check in again soon. I am here for my last check-in. My 20-year-old and I watched one episode of Twin Peaks, so I can't say too much about it yet because I don't have, you know, enough experience with it to have a solid opinion. Obviously, one episode isn't going to give you the meat of the story, but I do love the cinematography, like all the little B-roll shots and things like that. The characters are fun. Dale is my favorite. I think he is probably most people's favorite. He cracks me up with how excited he gets over things like trees and pie and things like that. I really enjoyed it so far. There's a lot of overly dramatic characters which made us laugh, but yes, that's it for now. I will probably do a video dedicated to Twin Peaks once I'm done with the series, because it's what, three seasons long, so stay tuned. I am also 70% through Anterior Skies, and there are so many weird stories in here, so many that I am enjoying so much. It's pretty even keel for me as far as how I would rate each of the stories. There's nothing that would get a really low rating, but I definitely wouldn't rate the entire book a 5-star so far. I don't think that's going to change, but unless the last few stories blow me away. But there was one that I really loved, and it was like a party with mask wearing people, and the narrator, main character, was very confused the entire time, and I loved it. So I can't remember the name of it, but I will pop it up here. Absolutely love that story. There's so many great stories. There's one by Marcus Hawk that was like a deep sea story, exploration kind of thing. Liked that one a lot. There's one, I think, that was set on Lake Michigan. That was one of those that I read when I was serving on jury duty, and so I reread it after I got back home, but of course my head was still spinning from, you know, that whole thing. But I am enjoying it so far. So far, it's about a 4-star rating for me. I think that CF Page did an excellent job selecting these stories for this anthology, and I can't wait to see what else these people come up with. Overall, I had an amazing week of weird. So many fun things that I got into. 2 movies, 2 shows, well, 2 episodes of 2 shows, and 2 books, almost. We're almost done with Anterior Skies, but I will come back and talk about that soon, hopefully. Thank you guys for hanging out with me this week, or in your case for this, I don't know, 20-25 minute video. I hope you guys have an amazing day or night. Stay weird, keep reading, and I'll see you next time. Cheers!